Hello guys. Welcome to my channel Psychology Point. Today we are talking about the psychology of people who hate small talk. So let's start. We all know the rhythm. You step into an elevator or wait in line for coffee and fall right into a standard routine. You mention the weather. They mention the weekend. You exchange stiff nods and move on. This functions as an automated social script. By staying on the surface, we eliminate the risk of saying the wrong thing. We don't have to reveal anything personal, and we don't demand anything complicated from the person standing next to us. But if these interactions are so safe and efficient, we have to wonder why they often leave us feeling so tired. After an hour of superficial chatter at a party, most of us feel drained rather than recharged. When we rely on these scripts as a shield, we prioritize safety over the depth of connection that our brains seem built to seek out. We avoid the awkwardness of a real conversation, but we leave the interaction feeling empty. To find out how this affects us over the long term, psychologist Matthias Mell equipped college students with voice-activated recorders to capture every word of their daily lives. This chart shows a striking relationship between conversation type and well-being. As the frequency of substantive, deep conversations increases, measures of life satisfaction track together. Conversely, those who spent the most time on small talk reported the lowest levels of happiness. The data suggests that substantive dialogue is a quantifiable requirement for human well-being. In Mell's study, the ability to move past the surface was the most consistent predictor of a participant's overall life satisfaction. Intrigued if depth is a requirement, scientists wanted to see if they could trigger it on purpose. Psychologist Arthur Aaron developed a tool to bypass our social defenses, known as the 36 questions. Aaron showed intimacy is built through a structured process of escalating, reciprocal vulnerability, moving from basic facts to personal truths. The questions eventually reach a peak, asking partners to share things they wouldn't tell a stranger, like their most terrible memory. This structured vulnerability provides a shortcut to the deep connection our brains are seeking. It bypasses years of standard small talk, typically required to build a sense of mutual trust. For many, this need for substance is rooted directly in their biology. Somewhere between 15 and 30% of people are wired as highly sensitive people, or HSPs. Dr. Elaine Aron uses the DOES framework to describe this trait. The D stands for depth of processing, a neurological tendency to analyze information more thoroughly than average. Brain imaging shows that HSPs have heightened activation in the insula, a region associated with moment-to-moment awareness and emotional integration. They aren't just seeing more, they're doing more with what they see and feel. Because their brains are tuned to this high level of processing, surface-level exchanges can feel understimulating. Without sufficient informational complexity, the highly sensitive brain struggles to find a point of engagement. These brains provide a blueprint for how our hardware prioritizes information. They show that human nervous systems can be specialized for processing intensity and nuance, rather than just the surface noise of everyday life. This prioritization of depth is also central to neurodiverse relationships. Researchers call this the double empathy problem, where communication breaks down because different neurotypes process social signals through entirely different filters. Many neurodivergent people choose to bypass small talk entirely, preferring a style known as info dumping. This involves sharing vast amounts of information about a special interest as a way to signal trust and connection. In this style, a conversation about your day might be replaced by an intense, 45-minute monologue on the historical lore of the Titanic. Passion becomes the primary vehicle for the interaction. These traits aren't a failure of social skills. They represent a strategy for achieving pure, unmasked connection by removing the filler and moving straight to the substance. The directness of these neurodivergent and highly sensitive traits mirrors the exact habits Matthias Mell identified in his happiest research subjects. This connection suggests that the need for depth isn't limited to a specific neurotype. Direct, substantive talk appears to be a shared human requirement for long-term life satisfaction. To act on this data, we have to start updating our daily social interactions. We have to learn how to break the automated loops we've been taught. It starts with our most common greetings. When we ask how are you, we usually trigger a reflexive response of fine. This is a closed loop that provides no information and no connection. Therapists recommend a slight shift. Ask, how are you feeling? That one word forces a psychological pause. It requires the other person to check in with themselves before they respond. Another alternative is to ask, what's been bringing you joy lately? This shifts the focus from a summary of a workday to a substantial experience that someone actually wants to share. We often believe that profound connection is something that takes years to build. But the science of the human brain tells a different story. Meaning is created the moment we choose to abandon the safety of small talk, ask a real question, and truly listen to the answer. Now tell me, what is your least favorite small talk question? And what would you rather be asked instead? Drop both answers in the comments below. Okay guys, take care and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.